Hey, everybody, welcome back. I know you missed the podcast, but we're back after Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I know it's been a few days, and this may be old news now, but I got to talk about it. Just a few thoughts in general. I noticed leading up to Thanksgiving, there was so many news stories about the amount of people traveling on Thanksgiving. It's apparently the biggest holiday for traveling in the country, and it somehow gets bigger every year, which I don't understand. I don't believe anyone likes their family that much, right? I mean, if you do travel, you probably where, first of all, where are you going? You know what I mean? Like, are you really flying across the country just to get dinner with your family? I'm honestly shocked. I mean, this is going to come off kind of rude. So forgive me if this sounds rude. It's not meant to be, because I like my family. Okay. Now I live in Chicago. My family lives in Michigan. My wife's family lives in Minnesota. To make it easy on everyone, we usually travel to either side to just, so we get to see everybody. And I get that, but we're driving. We're not flying. We're not doing anything great, and so we can usually, and we both, work from home, whatever. So we don't really have to go anywhere anyway. So it's not a big deal usually. However, I mean, we're out there on the road. I've never really dealt with too much influx. I mean, we've been doing this for years, and it seems like the same amount of people every year. I don't believe any of these reports, because how are there that many more people every year that are traveling? That's what I don't understand. Not everyone moves away from home, right? Not everyone leaves their hometown. I got to be honest. If it was a little harder, so let's see, we live just 5 to 6 hours from everyone we need to see. So we can get there by car pretty easily. Now, if it wasn't that easy, I don't think I'd go home for Thanksgiving. Like, if it involved a flight and we're talking hundreds of dollars, I mean, it takes 2 tanks of gas for us. And that's, a couple $100 for everybody. The dog, me, my wife. This is me. This is how you're getting older, by the way, when you start itemizing and breaking it down to the dollar, how much it costs to go somewhere. And I feel bad doing this, but that's just a fact of life. I'm like, it's not a big deal for us to get there. But if it was I'm talking if we had a family of our own, that we had to bring kids and fly. And I mean, if you can do it, good for you. But I cannot believe, and I just don't understand how that many more people travel every year, is everyone leaving? Also, have you noticed, the big joke about Thanksgiving, the hacky premise about it is, it kind of sucks, you're around your family, people but we still do it, and I'm lucky. We've got good families that are fun, we actually enjoy the time with family. But is it just a joke then that everyone hates it? And you got your the hacky jokes about it are you got your uncle, you got this, don't talk about politics, whatever. And it's if everyone is dreading it that much, why do we go through with it? That's what I want to know. You ever meet somebody who's just I'm not going home for Thanksgiving, I'm just going to go do whatever with my time off, or stay home? And I'm that is good for you, man. And maybe it's not nothing personal either, I mean, you can like your family. I remember the only time I've ever missed a holiday like that was in 2020. We stayed home for Thanksgiving. We made our own meal, and I was honestly, it was probably some of the best time I've ever had on Thanksgiving. I think it's just because we didn't have to go anywhere or do anything, because no one's coming here. We can't host the whole family here, Now that would be awesome. If everyone came here and then we didn't have to go anywhere, I bet I'd be way more pumped about it. But every year we drive to either family for Thanksgiving and Christmas. We usually just rotate it to make everyone happy, right? And this year was fun because, first of all, nothing bums me out more these days than the way the weather is changing. But it has been unseasonably warm this November. And when you're driving for the holidays, it's kind of a plus because you're okay, there's no insane blizzard, at least this year, right? We got through Thanksgiving, no horrible weather being in Minnesota, right? Driving through Wisconsin too, it was cold though. It was very cold. And this is this will be probably the most privileged thing I'll ever say is like, this might even be just like a Midwestern thing. I don't know. But in our building, we have there's like a garage for the building, right? And you're out of the elements. I can go down to the garage right now and get something out of the car in shorts and no t-shirt. If I would never do that. I don't want to creep out my neighbors, right? But I can go down to the car and grab something quick barefoot if I wanted to in the middle of winter. It's a nice perk to living in a condo. It's probably one of the few perks there really are. And, you forget how cold it is. So I was loading up the car. We're heading out for Thanksgiving, put the dog in the car, get everything situated, right? And get in the car. I don't even have a jacket on, okay? Didn't even pack a jacket. No coat for this trip because I'm a moron. Because it had been unseasonably warm all week leading up to Thanksgiving. And then we decided to leave, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I've pretty much been rocking a hoodie all week. I don't need a coat for this. And then I forgot we were going 6 hours north, to Minneapolis, and it's 20 degrees colder there, maybe more. And so the problem is I go down to the car, no jacket. We drive to Thanksgiving, and I don't realize how cold it is until I get out of the car for gas in the middle of nowhere of, Wisconsin, whatever. And I'm in shorts and a t-shirt, maybe a sweatshirt, and I hop out of the car, and it is the biggest jolt of just if you weren't awake, that's the best way to get through a long drive, by the way. Just jump out in the middle of winter in shorts and a t-shirt. But I made it through. We went in to the gas station to get a drink or something and put the gas, pay for the gas. And on the way out, I noticed there was a guy standing in the vestibule of this Quick Trip. And if you don't know Quick Trip, it's kind of like a cool, fancy, I don't even want to call it fancy. It's a Midwest fancy gas station type. They got everything you need. Everything. It's like a mini grocery store not anything really healthy. You can get cheese curds and stuff. It's very Midwestern. Look it up. They're kind of nice though. If there is one, that's where I'll stop. They got everything you need for when you're on a road trip, and nice bathrooms, right? Good place to stop if you need all that stuff. And on the way out of the Quick Trip, there's this guy in the vestibule, older guy, and I think I've talked about experiences like this before where I kind of have this dumb Midwestern happy-go-lucky look sometimes, the city, walking around the city, I try to not look so approachable, I guess, in a way. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but I don't want people to come up to me and ask me for stuff, because I'm either going to get messed with or it's never don't get me wrong, I'm all for helping people, but it's never an obvious situation. I'm I feel like you're lying to me or you're trying to get something out of me. And it's hilarious. It's just very consistent how it's oh, this guy's a moron. He'll stop and talk. And then I'm talking to this guy for 20 minutes, on the corner. And I'm just trying to go run my errands. I don't mean to be rude, man. I don't have cash. And that doesn't even work anymore because now people have Venmo. And they go, well, you got Venmo? You can Venmo me. And I'm no, I'm not doing that. But then you have to really double down on I literally cannot give you anything, And so it's, it's a habit of no, sorry, man, good luck to you out there. And, you try to be polite about it. Look, I'm not rich, bud. I don't have money. If I had money, I would probably be in a car right now. You know what I mean? That's usually when you're just walking down the street. I'd be in an Uber, okay? I'd be Ubering to the grocery store if I had money. But no, I need every dollar I have, but, But that comes across as rude sometimes, and I get that. But I said I tend to find myself in these situations, and it's always uncomfortable because I don't know how to get out of it. And I try to be a good person and try to do the right thing in these situations. But we were at the Quick Trip leaving, this old guy standing there, just he looks like he's going through it. And my wife's kind of the same way where she's very nice. She'll talk to you for 20 minutes about your problems and, just some guy at the grocery store like, oh, that's too bad, man. Anyway, can I get you anything, And this guy, I don't know if he saw us coming or if it was the right place at the right time, but I'm freezing in my shorts, by the way. We're standing in the door freezing. People are walking between us as we're talking. This guy starts going, oh, my brother died. And I'm like, oh, damn, sorry, man. That's too bad. Good luck to you. He's like, well, I came down here for his funeral. And I'm like, oh, you don't say. And next thing you know, we're in a full-fledged conversation about this guy's last week and a half about losing his brother. And it's the day before Thanksgiving or whatever. And I'm like, gosh, this guy's going through his whole story. And I do feel bad because I'm like, that sounds like a lot, bud. And he's got specific details where I'm like, this is too almost like rehearsed to me, where I'm like, okay, what is he going to ask us for? And we're standing there for a couple minutes listening to this guy, and I'm like trying to do the small talk, like, oh, I thought you were just going to ask me for directions. So I gave him a chance, and then he starts going, well, the problem is I live about 200 miles north of here, and I don't have money, and I forgot my wallet, and my brother just died, and he's going through this whole sob story. And then I never have cash, okay? And it's the night before Thanksgiving. I'm like, man, in my head, I'm like, I'll buy this guy some gas. I can go, put 20 on his pump for him or whatever. And as he's talking and I'm freezing, getting progressively colder, it's getting late. We're trying to get there, okay? I'm like, I'm on a tight schedule here, man. Sorry to be rude. I didn't say that. I'm not a jerk, okay? But it was Thanksgiving. And I was in it, so I was like, you know what? I never have cash. And I remembered this guy at the show I did the Saturday before this gave me $20 on the way out the door, which is clutch. If you're at a comedy show and you walk and you had a good time at the show, give the comedians $20. That's a good feeling. This guy ripped a 20 out of his wallet, and he was like, you had a great show. And I was like, thanks. This guy gave me $20, and I've been holding on to it, with trying to find the right reason to spend it. So you know what? I just interrupt this guy and I go, hey, man, do you just need gas? Is that what you're asking us right now? He goes, yeah. And I was like, well, here's $20. And I gave it to him. And he was like, are you sure? What's your address? I'll mail you. I'll reimburse you. And I'm like, are we really going to do that? You can just say thank you. It's $20. All right. It never entered or left my bank account. As far as I'm concerned, it was never mine. You know what I mean? You can just have this 20, man. Good luck to you. I go, can you get home on this? He goes, absolutely. And I was like, well, good. So immediately we walked to the car, and I had to put gas in our car. And I was like, there's no way that guy needed gas. I don't believe anybody when this happens. And maybe that's just my horrible view of the world, but I never believe it. I've been scammed before where I'm like, this guy was here asking for money last week, and he had the same story last week. And that's happened to me before, and I know people, but we're in rural Wisconsin, okay? So I'm like, could this guy have been really, is this his operation? Is he really just posting up at the Quick Trip in the middle of nowhere? I mean, I don't think that's the best way to lie. So I was like, that can't be, maybe it is right. I was like, I had like a Hallmark movie moment, where I'm like, it's the season of giving or what. I'm like, I had this moment of just like, I gave that guy $20. I felt good about myself. Now I did get back in the car and I go, let's see what this guy does. Because I have to ruin it. I have to ruin the whole moment. I was like, you know what, Nate, you were inspired to help this guy out. You could have just left it at that. But instead I'm like, I got to see if this guy just gets in his car and leaves. And sure enough, he got in his car and he pulled away, and I go, look at that. He's leaving. I'm like, I can't believe I gave this guy $20. He doesn't deserve it. And then he pulls up to a gas pump and he goes in, buys $20. Well, he buys gas. I don't know how much he spent, but he actually did it. And then I had this moment of like, maybe I'm really just a jerk, but wouldn't you stay and see at least what he did? I'm not going to go ask him for the money back or call him out. I would have let him just whatever. But I tell you all this not because, I'm trying to brag about doing something nice, because that's not it at all. And if I'm being honest with myself and the universe, the only reason I gave him that $20 is because I wanted him to stop talking to me. Sometimes $20 is all you need for peace, you know? So, anyway, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Ours was pretty great. We got to see family, do the whole thing, and then we were back home in 4 days. It was a good time. I highly recommend it. If you were the week before I was in at CG's Comedy Club, and that place is a little hidden gem of the Metro Chicagoland area. I highly recommend it if you're in town looking for a place to go, because it's a tiny little club, maybe seats 100, just over 100, maybe around 100, I don't know. But it packs out every time. Every time I've been there, and the crowds have been amazing. And it's the type of place you go, and if you do well, you're going to get a nice firefighter of a local town, from a local town who's retiring this year. And when you say, hey, man, congrats on retiring, that's huge. And he's going to be like, you know what? Here's a 20. It's always awkward when people tip me because it happens rarely. But when it does happen, I'm like, I'll accept it. But also I'm like, is this condescending? What? Because it's not normally a tipping, you know, I'm on the other end of the tipping culture where I'm like, you know what, you don't have to do this, man. But I'm also like, you know what? I'm going to take it. The best part is he ripped this 20 out of this fat wad of cash. Like, total, like, you know, just a big dude, just like a huge Chicago-looking dude who clearly has been a firefighter his whole life. And he's about to retire, so he's, you know, having a good time. And I'm talking to him about his life, and then he's like, you know what? This is a great night. I had a good time. And he just pulls out this wad of cash, rips this 20 out. And when he does it like really fast to try and be cool. Like, you could tell he was trying to be like, look at this. Look what I can do, you know? So he ripped this 20 out, and it ripped. The 20 ripped, and he still gave it to me. And, you know, I didn't say anything because I wanted that 20. But also, I was like, hey, man, you're not going to give me like one of the better ones? But he had to do it. He had to do it because he already did it. It was awkward, and we all saw it rip, and he immediately walked out the door, but he also pushed the door that was a pull, you know what I mean? So it was like really even, he doubled down on the, crap, tried to look so cool, but I couldn't make fun of him, because first of all, he's about to retire, he's a firefighter, and he could probably beat me up, so I didn't make fun of him. I waited until a week later to talk about him on my podcast like this. So, if you know that guy, tell him I said thanks for the 20. It went toward a good cause, giving some guy in the middle of nowhere gas money. So next up, we got Christmas. I don't know why we do these holidays so close together. Shouldn't they be spread out? Shouldn't we do Christmas like there should be a 6-month window between each holiday? We get, you know, first of all, Halloween, it's not so much a family holiday, but it's always the precursor to the holidays. Once you get through Halloween, you know the real ones are coming. You know what I mean? Halloween, you don't really go out of your way to see family. However, why are we doing these two meals so close together? I don't like it. I mean, it's nice in our situation because we get to see each family once in the holidays, right? But, you know, I used to live in the same town as my family, so I would go to both holidays. And my parents are split. I would go to both of their houses, you know, or both of their families. You know what I mean? So I had like 2 to 3 stops on Thanksgiving Day, on Christmas, and I always thought, like, you know, I mean, and I liked doing it, but also it's like, why are we all doing this? Why can't we agree as a people that we should have at least 6 months? Because I just saw you guys. Not much has happened in these few weeks here between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then you got New Year's, where I'm like, I'm done. I don't need to see anybody, you know? Give me a month off. January, I don't text, I don't call. I disappear, okay? Also, like the Christmas, I don't know, we would never do like a turkey. Like, you ever see a family do a turkey on Christmas too? I'm like, what are you doing, man? We just had this. This overrated bird. Another thought about Thanksgiving while I'm on the subject here, even though it's been already over a week. Why the turkey? It's the worst. It's not good. Turkey just isn't good, and 90% of the time. You know, it's the only time it is good is the next day when it's like kind of cold and you throw it on a leftover roll and you make the laziest sandwich you've ever had, but it's delicious. That's the only time I like it. Even Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, it's all about the sides. However, I would love to convince my family to try something else, but I don't think they'll ever go for it. Don't think they'll ever go. I mean, because they love the tradition of just, we got to do the turkey, we got to do the things, right? We got to do it the way it's supposed to be done. And I'm like, well, you don't really. Who's making us do this? You know, let's do burgers, right? Let's do how about steak? I don't know, something more fun. But they got to do. We got to do it. Also, given that turkey's like the worst, why do we always donate them around Thanksgiving? This is what I don't understand. Like, it's like, hey, also, are turkeys that expensive? I don't think they are. What's a full size turkey? $20? I mean, like, you can come up with 20, but most people can. I would think so. I mean, and if things are that bad that you can't afford like a $20 turkey, maybe figuring out how to cook it is going to be even harder. It's like, imagine donating a turkey to someone who's like, I don't even have $20, but I also don't have an oven. But thank you for this frozen bird that I don't even have enough time to thaw out. Anyway, like I said, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I hope your holiday season is going well. I hope you're not working. I hope you're enjoying your life. And I hope you come see me on the road somewhere. Go to my, click the link in the description, go to my social media, and sign up for my email list and all that good stuff. And I'll be in touch. I'll let you know when I'm coming to a town near you. And I'll be back next week with another episode of the podcast.